Hi everyone, welcome back to Excellence Noir, where we seek to raise the standard and change the status quo. So last week, I'm not sure if you follow me on Instagram, you would have noticed that I went to Mallorca, Spain. And I mean, it was a lovely experience, but it was definitely one of the worst experiences that I have ever had. So this is going to be a story time. So if you enjoy story times, then stay tuned. So we decided, my husband and myself, that we wanted to travel somewhere in Europe. So I started searching and I figured that we would go to Spain because we did not need a visa. So if you don't know, we're St. Lucians, so we can travel with our passport. So I said, okay, we're going to Spain. So I went on, one of my colleagues at work told me about on the beach, one site on the beach where you can get hotel and flights together, very cheap, and Skyscanner where you can get cheap flights. So I was on these sites looking, and then the hotels that I was getting, I was not really impressed with. So I went to booking.com to look for a hotel. And I booked my flights through Skyscanner. So I went on to Skyscanner and I got a flight we had to leave the Tuesday and come back on Friday. So on the Tuesday, the flight that I booked, it's, you know, that you would have these different little companies, these sites that will book the trips for you. So you're not really booking directly with the airline. So I booked with My Trip, that's the name, My Trip. And so they booked, the flight to go was on Ryanair, and the flight to come back was on Wizz Air. So the flight to go, I think, was like 80 something pounds. Because in total, for us to go and come back, the two of us, I paid 196 pounds for the flight. And that was including, I think, insurance or whatever. So it was really cheap. So, you know, I was like, yes. That is it. That is the, you know, like the cheapest I've ever paid to go anywhere. So I was excited. I was telling all of my coworkers, asking people, where should I visit? I went on TikTok looking for videos about the places I will go. And, you know, I was really excited about it because I felt like I wanted beaches and pools and sun. And so the day came and we had to go to, our flight was 7:40, and then we had to go to the airport at least 2 to 3 hours before that. So we had to pick up some friends. So the night before, their flight was delayed, so we ended up coming home at 3 a.m. and we had to leave home at 4 a.m. But my husband and I had been driving for a few hours because there were so many road closures, so it was a lot of back and forth. And then my husband, he said no, he had to rest. So he rested for a little while, like maybe 45 minutes, and then we got up, got dressed, and left at 4 a.m. So we got to the airport minutes to 5 because it was 45 or 42 minutes away from us, and we got there about minutes to 5 and went on to the line. When we got to the airport, never in my life, honestly, like I've been to stadiums and different events, I've never in my life seen so many people. And it was so early in the morning to see so many people, and we didn't even know which line to go on. When we finally found the line, there was a whole, let me tell you, a whole line of people in front of us. Then we stayed on the line. It was like after 5 now, and then we stayed on the line again, and then it was after 6, and it felt like the line wasn't moving. So then people started coming and saying, oh, I'm going to miss my flight. Oh, I'm going to miss my flight. Can I go in front of you? So people were letting people just go in front of them. Then people would go to the counters and say, oh, I'm going to miss my flight. And so they would, the people at the front would let them go. And mind you, there's like over 300 and something people in that queue, or maybe 200 and something people in that queue, and there's only 2 people at the counter checking, and there's a lot of back and forth between them. I don't know, they're taking so long to see everybody. I don't know what's the hold up. So a lot of us were on that line for a long time. So it was now, remember the time we got there, it was now minutes to 7 All that time we were standing on the line. When we finally got to the counter, it was 7 o'clock. And our gate was closing at 7:10. And then we hadn't even gone through security. And as soon as we went to the gate, the guy was like, oh, I don't think you guys are going to make it. But if you do, just go straight to the gate. And he gave us the gate number that we should go to. So we literally were running through security, got in security, got at security. And, you know, when you have to go through all of your liquids and stuff, my bag ended up staying. So they had to search the bag because I forgot like a toothpaste or something in there. And so I left my husband with the bags and I ran all the way to the gate just to see if I could tell the people that we're coming. Let me tell you, that was a marathon. You know, sometimes in airports you think, oh, you will just quickly leave security and run and like the gate is there. No, let me tell you, I thought that was St. Lucia airports because it's small. But these airports, I ran, I took stairs, I took escalators, I took so many things. I never got to the gate. And then by the time I got there, I saw that the gates were already closed. There was nobody there. And then there was another lady as well with her family, got there, and everybody had missed the flight. And then, let me tell you, I was so distraught. I was so distraught because I was tired, I was so frustrated. And then I was trying to look to see, you know, to ask the people, what are we going to do because we missed our flight because we were in the queue for so long. Went back to security now to look for my husband because I left him with my bag. Got to security and my husband wasn't there. Now, I don't know if it's all of the emotions. I don't know if I was already frustrated and I didn't have my phone because my husband had it. I didn't know where he was. The airport was so big and it was my first time at that airport. And then I asked one of the workers there, I don't know if he's security or whatever, I asked him if he had a phone that I could call my husband. And then he was like, no, we don't have a phone. And let me tell you, like, I think from the time the man said that, like, everything just came crashing down because I started to bawl. Like, I started to cry. You know, when you're crying so much, you have to ask the person to excuse you. Like, I started to cry, and I think the man, when I started to cry, the man didn't even know what to do because I was like, oh, I'm trying to get my husband, and then that's how I was crying. And then the man literally took out his own cell phone and said, come, give me the number. And then he put the number, and I was able to call my husband. When I called my husband was like, what are you crying for? It's only now, I'm laughing now because it's behind me, but during the time I was so angry. And then I think, like, when I went back, I met my husband. Both of us were already so frustrated that we had to that we missed the flight, and my husband was like, no, let's go home. And then, like, something just told me we're going to waste a lot of money if we go home because we already paid for a flight, we already paid for rental, not flight, we already paid for hotel, we already paid for rental and all of these things, so we better go. When I went to ask the people, they're saying that we need to pay an additional £200. Remember I said we paid 80 something pounds for the flight? They say we now have to pay £100 per person to get onto the next flight, and not definitely to get onto it. We're going to be on standby. If the flight has space, they will put us on it and pay £200. So a flight I paid 80 something pounds for. I said, Lord help me. And we had to wait another like 4 or 5 hours to wait for that flight to come to see if there's space for us. Anyways, we waited, and when we got there, we went to ask the people. The lady, when she asked, the same lady who missed who missed the flight together with us, she as well went. And later on we found out a lot of people who were in our same line, all of them missed their flights to different places. So she went to ask them. The people say they overbooked. There's 2 extra people. They don't know where they're going to put the 2 extra people. So we shouldn't even bother. And I was like, no, I went back. I prayed. I said, Lord, please. Because I know if we didn't get onto that one, my husband would just be like, yeah, no, let's go home. And then I prayed. And the lady said, okay, come give me your passports. And then myself, my husband, the lady, and the whole family, everybody got onto that flight. So that was like, it was horrible. But then, you know, I was like, yes, okay, finally we get in there, it's okay, it'll work out. When we get to the airport in Spain, we already like booked rental. So, you know, we went onto the side, we looked at the vehicle, I was like, yeah, give me the cheapest one, give me the smallest one. When we get there, then the guy says, oh, it's been over 7 hours, we thought you guys were not coming, so we gave the vehicle to somebody else. I said, how can somebody pay for a rental for 3 days and then you give it to somebody else, and there's no way to contact you? Because we were trying to contact them at the airport to let them know that we like our flight, we missed the first flight and we coming on the second flight. There's no way to contact them. Anyways, then he says he only has 2 vehicles left, some Audi latest model whatever, and then a Volkswagen whatever, a new vehicle that nobody has even driven, right? And then now he's telling me we have to pay for one of them £50 per day and the other one £30 per day, so choose which one. So now we have to pay for a new rental. Anyway, so after my husband and I were upset already, we just said it was now 8 o'clock. Remember, we left home at 4 a.m. It was now 8 o'clock in the night. So we were like, whatever, just give us the vehicle. Took the vehicle. We were like, okay, yes, let's go. Then we realized we're driving on the right side of the road. And in St. Lucia, we drive on the left. In England, we drive on the left. And now we have to drive on the right side. Even in the roundabouts, we have to go the opposite way. So it was an experience. And by the time we got there, like, we just went to bed. The hotel, one thing I must say, the hotel was excellent. The hotel exceeded my expectations. Everything about the hotel was nice. The pool, the staff were nice. The food, there was so much variety. It was comfortable. The only thing I didn't like is that, you know, these hotels you go and the people giving you, like, they take 2 small beds, and they put it together to make it one. Like, what is that? And I felt like we could easily, like, well, I was thinking I could fall in between those two beds, but anyways, I didn't fall. But yeah, the hotel was I would definitely recommend the hotel. And so yeah, so we went around, we tried our best to have a good time, and we were thinking, okay, yes, that's behind us, all of these negative things is behind us. And then now when we getting back home, so we left our vehicle at one airport because it was so early in the morning, so we just drove and went and left the vehicle there, and we paid for the parking. And then we landed at a different airport. So we had to get to that airport and then take an Uber from that airport to another airport to the other airport to get our car. So when we came when the day came that we had to leave, went to the airport, and then our flight got delayed. Then I think they had us walking back and forth, go to this gate, then the gate would change, go to that gate, and it was like from gate 8 to gate 22 to gate 11, all of that nonsense. Then finally the flight got there. That was like an hour. And then when we got onto the flight, everybody was, they had boarded everybody. Then the flight was like delayed again because we had to wait to give the pilot the go ahead. And so we just sat in the plane for like an additional half an hour or 45 minutes. We sat on the plane waiting. And when we finally got there, we got onto the Uber. The driver was fine, no issues. We went straight to the airport and we went to get our vehicle. Went to get our vehicle. My husband trying to unlock the vehicle. And then the vehicle, he's like, hey, what's wrong? You know, like he was saying as a joke, oh, the battery is dead. Lo and behold, the battery is dead. dead. I said, Lord, if this is my cross, honestly, like I was there. I had enough. Like I was so tired of everything. And then we were looking for somebody now to try to like give us a jump start, whatever they calling it, I don't know. So looking for people. I mean, it's a big car park, empty car park. You get a few people, but not really a lot of people there. So everybody we asked said no, they don't have any cables. Then I met some nice men that were saying, oh, they will try to push it, but then they said if there's no lights on the dashboard, it'll make no sense to push. And then finally, after I think both of us were on the brink, my husband was about to like jump off the thing, and I was going to jump the other side because we were so over it. And then we got a man who came and gave us a jump start, and then the vehicle started. And then we got home. We left the airport. We left the hotel at 8 a.m. and we got home about after 6 that night for a 2.5 hour flight. So that was my experience. If you've ever been interested in going to Mallorca, Spain, or anywhere in Spain, I would recommend Mallorca. It's lovely. We did you know, these boat rides where you just go around and see. So we did one of those and it was amazing. The beaches are so beautiful. It's clear, the water is clear, it's warm. It was really hot, like the temperature, it was really hot. But it's some place to visit. But my recommendation, do not go through any of these other companies to book your flights, because anytime when it comes to getting your money back or for them to sort out something, you can never reach them. So I would never recommend any of these companies. Go straight to the airline to book. I would never recommend Ryanair, as much as the flights are cheap. And I was telling my husband, I'm somebody, I would prefer to pay my money and get quality service than for me to go through all of that nonsense. Because even when I told the people that we were in the queue for that amount of time, they said, oh, they don't believe us. And so there's a lot of like strikes, there's a lot of delays. So if you have any flight coming up, make sure you go like 5 hours ahead of time. So I would not recommend that. And yeah, no. And I think a lot of the times, well, for me, I'm somebody like I'm very on the, like in the spur of the moment. So I was like, yeah, let's just do this and that. But I think it's better sometimes when you plan things long in advance so that you can make better decisions and you can think clearly. I think the place was beautiful and I would love to go again, but under different circumstances. I think because of everything that happened, it really kind of dampened the experience. But I mean, you know, you don't let things keep you down. But anyways, guys, so this was my little story of my experience. I'm hoping to travel more of Europe with friends or with other people who are interested in like some of my colleagues, because I love traveling, but I'm hoping that I will have better experiences to share with you guys. I was planning to vlog and do all of that, but let me tell you, the way it started, no. And I'm not somebody who cries very often, so if I cried at an airport, just know it was bad. So anyways, thanks for listening to this video. I hope that at least it was able to bring a little smile on your face. And I love to share my experience with you guys. I hope that everybody is doing well. And let me know in the comments what types of videos that you want from me. So hope that you guys have a good week.